Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. So, Molly, TJ, and Christina. First of all, I didn't like TJ's attitude when they got to the door and he was sitting there questioning Molly, like, oh, should we, do we really think that Christina's the right one or something? And I'm just like, wait, hold on. First of all, you treated her like garbage when she offered her body, her time to do this procedure for you in the first place. Okay? And now you're trying to make it seem like you think that she's the right one? Like, have your other surrogates actually panned out? Like, you're not exactly in a position to sit there and be all like, oh, do you think that she's the one? Something about that just rubbed me the wrong way. And of course, they ask her, she accepts. And I think that that is a terrible idea. It's a terrible idea because not only is it bad to be a surrogate for the first time, you've never been pregnant, and you just don't know, you know, you're going to attach to this child and stuff like that. The fact that y'all are sisters, that's just another issue. But also the fact that she got a lot going on. She's opening up this youth center. She's already sitting there running Charlie's. She is starting to get in a relationship with Blaze. And you really think that adding a child on top of that is a good idea? Like, nothing about this works, right? And I don't I don't know how Blaze is gonna sit there and react because she texts like, "Hey, I got big news and stuff." I'm just like, I don't know how she's gonna react. I mean, she may be super stoked and decide to just pursue this relationship, or she may be like, "You know what? Listen, I didn't sign on for this." You know. But even that aside, you got too much stuff going on. Like I said, if she does um get too attached to this child, she could sit there and at the last minute be like, "Yeah, you know what? I can't do it." It's not that's not the first time that stuff like that's happened, and with her, because this is the first child, it's more likely to happen. So you got that going on. You got Tracy crying in the plane about Luke, and the reason why it just missed me so much is because there's no emotional impact with it. There's no emotional impact with it. Luke, the death and everything like that happened on screen doesn't really, what I'm saying? There was no final words or anything like that. It just didn't mean anything. I got more depth today in Bold and Beautiful than I did on GH. That's something I never thought I could sit there and say. But here we are. Valentine is a real piece of work, I'll say. I don't really understand why Anna felt the need to go to Valentine's place to sit there and be like, hey, by the way, just let you know, your daughter didn't sit there and try to burn down my house. You could have simply just texted that at that point. But she does get over there and she does sit there and say, you need to get your daughter some help. And you got Valentine that's just making excuses after excuses. And, there's one point he almost sounds like he's proud of her. Like, oh, I was proud of her determination and her courage. I'm like, bro, listen, this isn't the time to be like, this isn't a proud parent moment type of situation. Anna's like, you need therapy. Your daughter needs therapy. And what did Valentine do? He decides to sit there and play the, well, you got something going on too, or well, you're not exactly innocent as this either. You lied and stuff like that, and I'm like, bro, you're not in a position to sit there and start telling her, well, to try to sit there and turn this back around on her. Oh, you knew that there was a target. You knew that you was sniffing gun from someone. Why didn't you say anything? If you don't shut your mouth up at this point, I can't believe those words even came out of his mouth. And of course, towards the end, the only thing he was saying was, at the end of the day, you prove Charlotte that Victor was right. and then said, as she was leaving, "I'm sorry," and said that, well, the reason why I didn't sit there and say that she was going after you partly is because I didn't want our relationship to sit there and end. I was afraid you was going to leave me. Valentine, at that point in time, you got bigger issues than your relationship. Okay? You and her being together is the last thing. Salvaging your relationship is the last thing you need to be sitting there doing. You need to be a parent first. Okay? That's something that Valentine has just been skipping, just putting it from place to place to place to place to place. And you prioritize your relationship with her, with Anna, over your daughter and what she got going on. Because Anna made this very clear, and I said this before, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other people said this. Get her help before she does something worse. Because next time she plays the game, F around and find out, she may not be alive. That's just the bottom line on that. I don't know what they're doing with these episodes. They're clearly fillers. They're they're trying to interject a little bit of drama and stuff like that, but they're also trying to do these whole feel good hallmark moments. And I don't know whose idea that it is to do these things, but they need to be fired, and they need to be fired ASAP. Okay? You got this whole scene with Lois and Olivia, and they're sharing these childhood stories about how they got grounded. And I mean, the only takeaway I could sit there and get from that, the only good takeaway I could get from that is that, they grew up and they had some really fun, amazing times, and they're still in each other's lives. You know, it's very rare for childhood friends to sit there and grow up and still be in each other's lives. And the fact that they managed to do that, um, says just how strong that their friendship bond is. Other than that, yeah, they just decorate the house. And then Cody comes upstairs because I'm pretty sure he needed to be in a certain amount of episodes. They could have sat there and did it without him, but whatever. So he's there. They're teaching him about, well, first, Lois is like, why does she call you Mama Q? Then he started talking about something about Zara or whatever, and certain times you can use, and certain times you can't, and certain people will be offended, and others it's acceptable. And I'm just like, okay, all right. We could probably be focused on so many other interesting things that is going on in this show, but we're gonna have a 5 to 7 minute conversation to try to break down the appropriate ways of using Zora or Zona. Okay, yeah, I mean this is a perfectly good use of my time as well. That's totally fine. Um, Liz and Finn get home to sit there and see this depressing ass tree that Violet picked out. Now, Violet is a sweetheart, and she looked at that tree and was like, if it didn't get sold by somebody else, I mean, if it didn't get sold, if we didn't buy it, no one else was going to buy it. She felt sorry for the tree. So I was like, okay, fine, that's sweet, I guess. Um, Chase and Brooklyn announced their marriage. Then they sing a song that I had to sit there and mute because I don't do music on GH or soap operas in general. I rarely do. I rarely do music on soap operas. think the last time I actually sat there and listened to music that was actually good. And I'm gonna sit there. I'm gonna sit there and go right. Days of Our Lives, Johnny Demira. You can actually sing. Give him his props. But anyway, they sung some sort of Christmas song. I imagine. I have no idea. Um, Tracy gets back. She looks at the small amount of decorations that's going on. She's all like, "Ah, this is terrible. It's outrageous." I'm like, bro, there's just all it really is just draped along the banister. They don't even actually have a trade. Nothing else is really decorated. Um, and she's walking in like she walked into a travesty or something. Just like, this actually still looks like a travesty. If we're gonna be honest, if we're trying to go for the Christmas mood and stuff like that, where's the staff at? The butlers, the maids, people that would sit there and do this sort of stuff, not the people that live there. I mean, I know Olivia, she don't like cook doing stuff. She goes in there, she does her own cooking, but I'm like, big ass house, there's three of y'all. Y'all can't just hire some people real quick to make this not look, you know, like we're not celebrating anything. Back to Christina and Molly. I also didn't like how easy Christina was letting Molly off the hook. I give Molly props because she was like, I treated you awful. You know, I was upset with myself and I took it out on you. And it's not to sit there and say that Christina should have kicked her when she was down, right? No, but I don't like the fact that she kept just sitting there giving her excuses and ways out like, oh no, don't really sit there and see it this way. It's like, no, 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 no. Part of taking accountability is actually taking accountability. And that doesn't mean that you get to just slide in a bunch of excuses. Like, no. She was awful to her sister who wanted to sit there and help. Not make excuses for that. I really want to sit there and mention that because if I didn't, I probably would have been annoyed myself and I would have to sit there and try to explain it in the live stream tonight. Anyway, this is a terrible idea, so I'm looking forward towards this train wreck that's going to wind up happening. I feel like that's pretty much about it. I can't. Oh, also, Violet asks Liz and Finn when they're going to sit there and tie the knot, and they cannot get out of that conversation fast enough. Literally, they just couldn't do it. Um, okay, now I think that's actually about it. But if I missed anything, you know what to do. Come to the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll sit there and talk about all the shows, General Hospital, Date of Our Lives, Bold and Beautiful, and Young and the Restless. And if you're not a member, I suggest you join. Not only because of the member shoutouts, the exclusive videos that I do only for members, but also the member live streams. Because you just never know what's going to wind up happening or what kind of tea is going to wind up being spilled. Um, And I'll sit there and say this much because I gotta sit there and change the title. But the one video that I always sit there and talk about that's the most views out of all of my other members only live streams. And there's a reason for that. You can't sit there and say what it is. You got to be a member to find out, but there's a reason for that. Anyway, I think that's pretty much about it. I can't think of anything else that wound up happening. So with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.